Today we're changing out the front shocks on the Ford F250. Of course, you will do this process once on each of the side. I'll show you the one side and you can repeat the other on your own. The first step will be to remove the front wheels. Now when you do this, make sure you chalk the rear wheels and set the emergency brake. I'm assuming you know how to do this step, so I won't go into the details. Now that the wheel is out, we're going to remove the front shock. There is the lower nut that you'll remove and the upper nut. Of course, with the upper nut, in order to get that one off and keep the shock from spinning, we need to put an open-end wrench on this one. It's pretty simple and straightforward to remove. Now that we've removed the old shock, we need to remove its rubber grommet. This thing is dry, cracked, and worn out, so we'll take our box cutter here and then shove it in there good and deep 3 or 4 times. So create a space for our flathead screwdriver, which we can shove in there and then begin to pry it out. This doesn't take a whole lot of work, but we definitely want to replace this grommet here. Also, with the lower post, make sure it's free of dirt and leftover rubber. Those leftovers can break down the new shock, so we want to make sure it's good and clean. It's time to install the new shock, and I've got this one resting in here just for demonstration purposes. Now when you do this, make sure that your rubber grommet is right side up. This is key. The first step is actually to bolt into the top and then bolt into the bottom second. So we'll pull down the shock to this post and make sure you're square when you pull it down to the post so that the hole goes in on the post very easily. Real quick note for your convenience, the nut on the top here is a 19mm on a deep well socket, and then the lower nut is an 18mm. I'm now ready to start pulling the shock down, and I've only got the nut on the top partially tightened, so I have enough range of motion to get around this post here, and I'm twisting and pulling at the same time. Now that I'm down to the post, I can start pushing on there good and hard. As I'm pushing, I'm twisting, pushing, twisting, pushing. Now once I've got this back, I put the nut on and tighten, and also tighten the nut on the top. Once you've got that, you're ready to go. During this video, I've been demonstrating on the passenger side, so on this driver's side, I want to make a note for you. This is going to be a little bit challenging to do, but bear with me. Here on the driver's side, I want to point out the air filter, and then I'm looking at the ratchet. I'm going to zoom back in here. I've got my ratchet with the extension, then a universal joint, and then my 19mm socket. What I'm pointing out here is that it's a lot easier on the driver's side to remove the top nut on the shock from this side as opposed to coming in through the wheel well. It is pretty tricky and tight space, so if you have somebody who can help you out and hold the shock through the wheel well while you use the ratchet here and remove that top nut, it's a whole lot easier to do than trying to come in from that wheel well side on the top like I did on the passenger side.